already, go ahead and hit that bell icon so you get all the notifications of when I post and or go live. So today's going to be a slightly different video. I've never really talked that much about witch talk because I'm not associated with it. And most practitioners that I know also do not associate with it because it's a bunch of toxic shit. Anyways, so starting off, this one's kind of a newer one. And if you've been following me on other platforms, you're really going to get tired of me saying this. But it's come to my attention that people do not believe that you can call upon any deity or god or goddess, depending on, and doesn't even really depend on the pantheon. You can call upon them all to hex, curse, basically assist you in wrecking somebody's life, especially if they deserve it. There's this newer, fluffier bunny bullshit where like they're not, you know, they don't do any of that. They're just these like divine beings that are just perfect and they won't harm a fly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Historically, that's complete and utter bullshit. These are the same gods and goddesses that they literally used to sacrifice humans and animals to, specifically blood, in order just to be able to pray to them. And now we have an entire section of people calling them daddy and mommy. Why? Now, shadow work. What is shadow work? So there's technically two different types. There is the one that most everybody knows, thanks to the toxic ass online, which is Carl Jung's psychological shadow work. That specific shadow work is to basically break down your entire ego. If you break down your entire ego, you kind of, your perception changes a lot, right? Here's the problem with that. For one, like I've always said, if you have any type of childhood trauma in the crucial development stages from like a kid all the way up into like mid-teenager, you don't fully have an ego to begin with, because trauma actually prevents you from creating a full ego. With that being said, though, what they're not understanding is I've seen so many practitioners go online and they're like, here's your daily shadow work prompt. I've been doing shadow work for the past year to 2 years. Your actions speak otherwise, Becky. Yeah, they do. Because see, if you were actually doing shadow work, how do you do shadow work and feed into your ego at the exact same time? Now, if we look at the internet as a whole, especially TikTok, because most of their data is basically, or how the app in itself works, is based on addiction. Yeah, y'all heard me that right. What do I mean by that? So, you know when you post that one video and it goes, however your numbers are, viral, and you get so many people confirming or almost, oh my God, brain work, basically confirming that you are right, right? So we get a chemical reaction from the likes, the shares, and getting those notifications, right? It's feeding into our egos. And that's perfectly okay. Like, the internet's the internet. But there's been this new thing where these young people are taking charge and holding people accountable for their actions. Now, obviously, if somebody's doing problematic shit and or racist shit, well, no shit. You need to step to them and you need to tell them, you know, look, you're fucking up, you're doing wrong, right? But there's a very fine line between doing that and stalking somebody and harassing somebody, which is what people have been doing. Anyways, let's turn back to the witchy shit. You cannot work with the Fae. Don't work with the Fae or they'll steal your children. Shut the fuck up. All you're doing is spreading a bunch of fear tactics that have nothing to do with the Fae. Should you be smart when you're working with the Fae? Goddamn right, you should. Do not thank them. It's extremely insulting to them. Literally do not thank them. That's basically it. Don't make a deal with them and don't thank them. Boom. And secondly, the amount of people, the amount of videos that I saw. Not every goddamn thing you find outside is a gift from the Fae. You got land spirits. How do you know that your own deities that you're working with did not give you that gift? Anyways. Yeah, don't step in a fairy circle. Fuck it, do. I've worked in a fairy circle before. You just gotta be smart when it comes to these shit. And respectful. Also, don't get them chocolate, but I learned through research that that's more because it's toxic to a lot of animals. So, think about that. If you would like to start working with the Fae, they love shiny things, they love butter, they love honey, and they love milk. And to start off with that, because it falls under the broad term of Fae or fairy, start talking to your house brownie. Most houses have them. You can look up house brownie and what they are. They're basically kind of little helpers, if you will. But you can easily offend them, and then they may become a little mischief. Now, what happens if I accidentally insult and or piss off the Fae? How will I know if I did? Things will start going missing. You'll come inside, lay your keys down, and literally walk away for 5 minutes and come back and poof, they're gone. You wind up finding them somewhere else. That's what they do. So yeah, if you do, again, do not thank them. Apologize, though, and basically give them an offering of butter, honey, and or milk. And like I said before, they love shiny things. One of my very first, technically my very first second workings that I've ever done was, let's not hyperfixate on the name, but it was a fairy godmother wish spell. And it worked. And I've been working on and off with the Fae since then. Primarily I work with the land spirits and heavy association with both of them. But that's neither here or there. Your altar. For one, you do not have to have an altar. You do not, there's not a specific way of setting your altar up. Go with what you feel. And fuck anybody else who tells you differently. You can have as many gods and goddesses as you want on your altar. Although, with that being said, how the fuck are people working with like 20 fucking deities? There are people on Witch Talk collecting these fuckers like they're fucking, the things that we used to carry around like pet pockets, whatever the fuck they're called. No, you can work with multiple deities, but it takes a lot. Like, come on now. Anyways, now, there is a difference in working with the deity and being a devotee. A devotee, basically, you have weekly, daily, and even monthly rituals to that deity, depending on the ones you're trying to build that relationship to basically show them that you are devoted to them and them only. Well, do I have to wait around for a god to come or a goddess knocking at my door? No, you do not. Give an offering. Do research on the lore and the history of them. Give an offering. Ask. They're either going to do one or two things. They're either going to answer you or they're just going to say no and just not answer you at all. That's okay. They're divine beings that have their own fucking consciousness. So, continue. Fuck, oh my god, there's so much fucking bullshit. Yes, you can use eggs in hexing. Yes, you can use a lemon in hexing. You want me to tell you why, and we're not going the scientific route. What do we call what we're doing? Witchcraft. See that second word just slips people's tongue. Craft. Craft. Which means you are going to create your own craft, your own style of magic. That will change dramatically. That can change in a week, in a month, in a year. Spiritual journey and witchy journeys are not this straight, narrow line. They're all over the place. Trust me on that. But yeah, no. People are making magic harder than it actually is. Yes, you can use those to hex. You can use a lot of other things to hex too. With that being said, and I'm sorry if this offends you, if the only fucking thing you do is stick somebody in a jar repetitively, you're not doing witchcraft. You're sticking people in a jar. There's this newer term to me, which is this baneful witch shit. What's the point? I thought everything in life was supposed to be a balance, right? Because, you know, water's good for me, but if I consume too much in a small amount of time, it could drown me or kill me. Okay, so why? Because you have the aesthetic, you dress in black, you have you have all these fucking symbols all over you, but yet the only damn thing you can do is stick somebody in a jar. Why not stick somebody in a grave? Why not stick somebody in a tree? So many fucking things you can do, but you just want to be baneful. And then all of these people turn around and bitch and complain that their lives are going to shit. Well, no shit, Nancy. I wonder why. Life is about balance. Okay? Okay. Thank you for that. The term demon. Can we stop using that shit? Christians, the church, the Catholic, they've ruined that term. They're infernals, right? Right? Infernals. Okay. There we go from that. Demons are not inherently evil or any bullshit that you learned in church. So go ahead and reprogram it. With that being said, could they fuck your world up? Well, no shit. They're ancient beings. Yeah, they could fuck your world up. Anything can fuck your world up if you're not respectful. Respect gets you a lot of places. Authority gets you a lot of places. What do I mean by authority? No, I do not mean that I am an expert on craft. I mean, when you do a spell, you have to have an authoritating voice. If you're trying to summon something to you, or you're trying to conjure something to you, or manifest something to you, if you yourself deep down inside do not believe it, or do not think you deserve it, you're not going to get it. It's not going to work. I promise you, the first person that goes, oh, well, magic is just setting your intention, get the fuck off my page. I love you all, but get the fuck off my page with that bullshit. The internet has ruined so many people when it comes to fucking witchcraft, dude. Dudettes. I'm saying dude is a non-binary term. Yeah, bullshit. Speaking of non-binary and shit like that, witch, the term witch is non-binary. It's gender neutral, okay? Men, whatever else you want to call it, were also prosecuted and hung or burned. Technically, here in the United States, there's only one that he was crushed to death. That's not actually accurate either, because so many people hyperfixate on the Salem witch trials. Y'all do realize there were other and older witch trials here in the United States, correct? Alrighty then. Some of them actually were speculated that they actually did burn some people. So, there's your new history list. I actually think there's like 37 to 27 of them. But one of the oldest ones, we don't really have that much actual records that actually survived. So, there you go. Fall down the rabbit hole. War water. If you make war water, depending on the tradition or depending on your recipe, if you use that, and you are not justified in you using it, you are going to get bitch slapped, okay? Thank you on that one. Alright, what I'm trying to think, I should have made a list, but there's just too much fucking shit. If you decide to crush up crystals, okay, for one, I'm not your fucking parents, do you? Use equipment. If you go to crush up crystals and or bones, or even eggshells at this point, use protective equipment. What the fuck does this mean? Some type of mask or breathing apparatus, and glasses and gloves. Boom. Okay? I know I've seen so many people get sapphire or selenite, whatever the fuck you want to call it, grind it up. Yes, it can be extremely fucking toxic, especially if held in, because it will cause microscopic cuts all in your lungs. That is bad shit. If you are on any type of mental health and or pharmaceuticals that were prescribed to you by a doctor, do not stop taking them because some dumb-ass new age guru told you to. Okay. As y'all can tell, my energy is different in this, and it's just because I'm fed up, right? The amount of sacredness and just purity bullshit that people are turning witchcraft into, it's driving me fucking crazy. Because there are what I'm calling, because I hate the term real witch, there are a lot of authentic witches on the internet. What I mean by an authentic witch is it was somebody who has been in this before witchcraft blew the fuck up and got popular, okay? Now, with that being said, I am not hating on the witches who are just finding witchcraft now. That's not what I'm doing. That is the entire point of my content. That way you will actually not get bullshit information, okay? Okay. There's so many other topics that I want to touch on, but that's just going to cause so much discord, so I'm not even going to do that, like, at all. But the other things I do want to talk about. Stop grouping all natives together. I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back. Stop grouping all natives together. That is a more regional thing. As in, natives in Alaska versus in Colorado versus in fucking Georgia, they are not going to work with and or have the same meanings behind certain things, okay? And if you do not believe me, reach out to a local native that is not on TikTok, and I guarantee you the answers you get from them versus what you hear on TikTok are going to be completely fucking different, okay? I know this because I've actually done it, okay? That makes sense. Palm-colored people. You can't work with your ancestors because of colonization. For one, only time I'm going to say this. We're not the only people that colonized, okay? And if you do not believe me, go to your fucking history book, okay? Thank you on that. But yes, we did colonize. I get it. We all get it, okay? With that being said, though, Norse, Celtic, Scottish, hundreds of other religions and spiritual practices and magical practices have honored and venerated their ancestors for hundreds of thousands of years. That is what ancestor veneration is. Somebody commented, well, isn't working with your ancestors inherently hoodoo? Yeah, no. Yes, hoodoo, voodoo. By the way, please do your research on hoodoo and voodoo, because there's not just one or two, okay? There is traditional hoodoo, right? There is traditional voodoo, right? But see, here in the United States, there is, this was new to me, Mississippi River voodoo. There is Creole voodoo, which is voodoo that stems from New Orleans. So yeah, do your research. Also, if you do want to do your research, but also listen to a podcast, you should totally check mine out. I interviewed Bloody Mary from New Orleans, and we actually talked about that. Heads up, though, there is a lot of interference. That normally happens on my podcast with the spiritual energies coming. So yeah, but it's a great podcast nonetheless. So yeah, don't listen to everything you hear on fucking line. Why do we keep pressing the term research, research, research? Literally, it used to be a catchphrase for me. Do your own research. Why do we say this? Most people think that we just want you to spend half your fucking life in your nose in a book. That's not why. Most people think, well, you need to know the correct information. Yes and no. That's not either why. What do you do when okay, for the people that did not grow up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s and early 2000s, you may have never actually experienced this before thanks to the internet. But before the internet, before we had these phones, we had to go to a library. Well, it's not really before the internet. I'll say before the phones, because we had computers. But we had to go to a library or a bookstore, Barnes and Nobles at that, right? And then we had to basically cross-reference and cross-reference all the other shit, right? That's not the point of that. The point of what I'm trying to say by that is the reason we tell you to do research is because you are showing the universe that this is what you want. What do I mean by that? If I do a spell to get a job and then I sit on my ass, don't fill out applications, don't call anybody, I'm not going to get that fucking job. That job's not going to just randomly fall in my lap, right? But if I do a job spell and then I fill out over 300 applications and then call them repetitively, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get that job. Why? Because with every spell that you do, you have to do footwork. If I do a customer spell to bring in more money or to bring in more customers, what am I going to do? I'm going to go on an advertising fucking post binge, right? I'm just going to binge it everywhere. Why? Because you're meeting the universe halfway. This shit where you light a candle and shit just falls in your laps, yes, it sometimes can happen. It's called instant magic is what I call it. Check out my other stories or live, or let me know in the comments if you want me to do a story tell of how that almost went horribly wrong for me. Doing instant magic, not thinking that it would instantly manifest, which it did. But in general, stay away from TikTok. Easiest thing I can tell you, stay the fuck away from TikTok. It is toxic as fuck. You have people on there who work with some of the oldest gods known to man, but they will argue some of the dumbest shit imaginable. I want to just bang my head against a door, okay? Now, with that, there is going to be a TikTok of this that I'm going to stitch, but there is an amazing creator that I came across that basically point blank told us something that we needed to hear. Sorry for all my authors out there. I did want to say there are newer books coming out, specifically like Appalachian folk magic practices, things like that, that we actually haven't had books on. So, with that being said, though, you do not have to go out and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on books. You want to know a book to get? It's right here. Correspondence book. No, it's not going to have everything in there. It's a thick-ass book. Why would you need this book? This book right here could point you in so many fucking ways on research and shit like that, right? Okay. So when it comes to these new flashy witchcraft books, they're all the fucking same information, just repetitively. Blech. I get that. Even what I do. I read a book, turn around, make a video on it. That is what witchcraft is. But you don't have to go out and spend all this money on fucking books. And yes, I know, that makes me sound like a hypocrite because I also review books. It's my job. That's how I get back to the community. But in general, most of all books nowadays, not all of them, but a lot of these books, they're the same fucking basic information. Not to mention the way that these books are written, they want you to do it in their style. Don't do that. Like Christopher Penczak, in multiple ones of his book, he tells you to take what you've learned from this and go the opposite way. Now, yes, when it comes to, like, say, the Poison Path book or Wild Witchcrafting, there's a lot of knowledge in there that I did not know. So that's great. But when it comes to, like, these, like, not even beginner books anymore, it's just the same shit over and over again. Now, hopefully that will change in the next 2 to 3 years because I am slowly putting a book together on what I call instinctual magic, which you're all going to get to in your practice. But yeah, I was actually talking to somebody today, and they're like, I tried to do spells in a book, but it didn't flow right. And they're like, so I said, fuck it, and just did it myself. Congratulations, that's what a witch does. Yes, obviously you need to know the basics, the foundations. You do need a very solid foundation in your practice. The more solid foundation you have, the bigger you can build it, the better you can build it. But stop rushing to get places because you see people with the witchy aesthetic online. The witchy woo-woo aesthetic doesn't mean absolute shit. Yes, it's cool. Example A. Yes, it's cool. Yes, it gets us in the witchy mood. But there's this stupid thing that has started where people are basically associating the stupid witchy aesthetic look with knowledge. I had a 40, I believe she's 40, they may be 50, 40 or 50-year-old person call me out on TikTok telling me that I'm just some Google witch. Tell me you don't watch my content without telling me you don't watch my content. And the reason I brought that up, they can call me fake all they want, is the fact that they're way older than I am. I'm 29. How am I acting more mature than fucking half the people online? Now again, that's not directed towards anybody in my community because, no offense, we have an amazing fucking community. Discord, link listed below this. It's an amazing place. You can go through the comments, the videos. We all support each other in every way that we can. We push each other up. We have conversations that some people may seem stupid, but it's not. You have to ask questions. Here recently, somebody in Discord brought up the term. Well, technically, since most seeds, like apple seeds, have a small bit of arsenic in it, couldn't I use those for a hex? Well, holy shit, by golly, you can. That's an amazing idea. And this is what we need. We need people to evolve. We need witchcraft to evolve. But the way that it's evolving now, it's becoming dull, stupid, and pointless because of people online. Now, there are hundreds of amazing YouTubers on this amazing platform that they probably have hundreds and thousands of hours of content to watch. But even with them, just like even with my content, take it all with a grain of salt, okay? Y'all are going to meet a lot of people in your spiritual journey that do not have the best for you. They will wind up seeing that you have so much potential and they will try to squash that out. Don't let them. Speaking from personal experience, and look at me, here I am. Okay? I understand it's confusing. If you find something that works for you, use it. Like me, I've gotten hate when I told people that I use a website to create a sigil. Oh, well, that's not very magical. Why not? Are you activating your sigils? Are you activating your runes? If not, that's probably why your magic's not working. Now, with that being said, I wanted to give another example of some of the shit that I've seen online. Stop sticking everything in a fucking jar. For one, please, just stop. I understand the aesthetic. I probably have hundreds of thousands of jars. You can only do so much with them, okay? Don't stick yourself in a box. Witchcraft is supposed to be Witchcraft is the equivalent of breaking the box and then building a circle out of it. Do you need a circle every single time you do magic or spells? No. I do have a circle. It's great to have a magical space, but it does not have to be a closed-off circle. Looking to throw in the compass. That's more traditional witchcraft. Not that I have to say this. When I use the term traditional witchcraft, I am not saying it is the OG of OGs. Okay? Anyways, traditional witchcraft, though. Check it out. It's actually really cool. Southern Conjure. Really cool. Not closed in any way, shape, or form. Appalachian folk magic. Not closed. Although some will argue with that. It's not closed. Okay? Half the shit that people are saying right now, Egyptian magic, not closed. Honey, not closed. Brick dust, not closed. Actually, how the fuck can you close an object? How do you do that? And to the witches on Witch Talk, how the fuck are you supposed to close a deity? Are you the only divine source? Sorry, I keep hitting fucking shoes. Are you the only divine force out there that has the hand of God? Are you the only one that can talk to gods? No, we all can. Akasha records. You can access them. They're your fucking records. They're my fucking records. They're all of our records. Why would we have to go to somebody else to access those records? Astral projection. It is a practice. Yes, some people do have the natural abilities to just be able to do it or come easier to them, but drinking a cup of tea is not just going to shoot you into the astral realm. And before you go trying to shoot yourself into the astral realm, actually do research. Because a lot of the shit you're seeing on TikTok, it's fake. It's either fake, they're dreaming, or they have one hell of an active imagination. How do I know this? Well, congratulations! It's called research. There are hundreds of thousands of people that have had some of the almost same experiences and or wind up going to very similar places, okay? There's also other things like jumping the hedge, crawling out of your skin, multiple other things that are technically different than astral projection. Oh, there was another one. Starseed rhetoric. Oh, you are not gonna like this shit. So, I hope YouTube doesn't flag this. Starseed rhetoric and some of the people that created it were Nazi sympathizers. Yeah, y'all heard me right. It's not. Think about it. There are like 7 races. One of them being basically what looks like what Adolf Hitler wanted them to, the perfect race. You're following anti-Semitic shit. Yeah, you really are. I did the same thing until I actually did research on how it was founded. Not to mention, this whole 5D shit, you're doing the same thing the church did. Straight up. Good, evil. And then after that, you're actually bringing Christ into this shit. The 177, that's also out of the fucking Bible. Okay. Chakra. No, don't even start with that shit. Go do your research on the root word and the root religions and region of the earth that shit comes from. Because this whitewash bullshit here in the United States ain't it. There's also other practices like, I think it's Celtic. They have what is known as the cauldron, the 3 cauldrons of power. Okay? You can totally use that. Do I believe that witches our bodies do have power sources? Well, yeah, most other fucking places around the world also believe that. But if you're going to use a term, you need to use it right. It's the exact same reason that if you were any of my friends growing up, and I had this, before I allowed you to wear it, I would basically either make you do research, or I would explain in very detail of what this symbol is. That way you're representing it in the right way. And if anybody comes up to you and says it's a Satan star, you can actually school them and correct them on that misinformation, okay? I'm not going to go over the whole, actually I am, no. You can be a Christian witch. You can use the Bible in your practice. There is the devil in witchcraft, but it's not the Christian aspect of the devil. They're all archetypes. But the devil does exist, okay? Let's see. Moon water! It's overrated fucking water. I'm sorry. You can't use it in much shit. You add it to a spell jar, it's going to mold. In fact, for all you people that keep showing these little moldy ass jars off, if you added any type of liquid that wasn't a preservative with natural things like leaves and herbs and shit like that, I give it a month to 2 months, depending on the environment, it's going to break down and mold. Again, not everything that happens to you is somebody hexing or cursing you. Have people tried throwing shit at me? Yeah, they have. I'm not God. I'm gonna have shit thrown at me. But you know what? I actually know what the fuck I'm doing when it comes to protections and things like that. And you can too, as long as you don't follow the fucking witches on Witch Talk. Because, have you noticed something about some of the witches on Witch Talk? Are they really making witchy content anymore? Also, being a witch does not mean you have to be a fucking bitch or bring that bitch-ass energy, okay? This is not a fucking popularity contest. Oh! If you have less than 2 years, you should not be teaching witchcraft in any way, shape, or form, and you damn sure should not be charging people to teach them, okay? If you don't claim, or if you do not identify as a witch, you should not be making educational content on witchcraft. That would be like me creating a YouTube page on rocket science, knowing I'm not a goddamn rocket scientist. That fucking simple. Okay, you want to start witchcraft. Where do I begin? That's actually a very complex question. What I did, basically, for one, I went and got a book. Back then we didn't have that big of a selection. I went and got a book when I could, and or I started researching things online. Luckily now we're in the era to where there are YouTube videos, documentaries, podcasts. Notice how I didn't say TikTok? Exactly. Now, with that being said, are there witches on the app of TikTok that do not associate with witch talk and actually know what the fuck they're doing? Yes. Hundreds of them. You just have to find them. Yeah, I think I summed that up. I'm trying to keep this short. Let me know if you like another one of these. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. I'm not trying to be anything like that. I'm just so sick of something that is so fucking sacred, basically just being pissed all over. So, anyways, if you like this video, or if you'd like to see more of these, or just join me in a live while, we all hang out, again, subscribe, hit the bell icon, so you get all the notifications when I post and or go live. And at any point in time, if you would either A, like to have a conversation with me about witchcraft, your journey, or any type of help that I can help you with, you can email me with the email listed below. On top of that, if you would like to book a reading with me, because I do oracle readings via email, or any type of custom spell work, because I do offer them as well, send me an email, okay? And you can click the link tree that's also listed with this video. Check out my other sites, podcasts, TikToks, Instagram, Discord, an amazing place, and Facebook page. So, yeah, until then, peace.